All right, I'm in here with my man Saint Jhn. Finally, we made this happen.
Finally.
It's been a long time since, well, not that long since we first met. It was like, I don't know, maybe like 9 months to a year ago.
Yeah, that feels about right. It's a good timing.
It was funny because like I had been put onto your music by a couple of friends and was listening to it, and then a mutual friend, Sujit from Scam Artist, he was like, "Yo, there's this guy Saint Jhn that I want to bring through and introduce you." I was like, "You kidding me? Collection 1 is like my favorite album I'm listening to right now." So I got to meet you, and the first time we met, it was one of those things where you have a project that you love so much, and you really hope that the artist is gonna like impress and be what you think.
You want them to live up to it,
and you did it, bro.
That's good.
From the moment you kind of came in and you rock up in a Jag drop top.
Yeah, that's not my usual, but yeah.
That's not usual. Yeah. Normally the Porsche?
Usually a Porsche.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're changing it up a little bit.
I don't know if I switched. I think I was in a difficult situation that day.
What do you mean? What's a difficult situation? How you start this with a difficult situation and don't expect me to be like, explain?
I just think it was an unconventional day. I sound like I have first world problems. Nah, it was cool. I just didn't have I have a Porsche. Yeah, I have a Porsche. I don't own a Jag.
You don't own, but you were just leasing one for the day.
Yeah, I was just renting one. Yeah. When I'm in LA, I like moving around in LA in the way I'm supposed to.
This is like, I don't normally do my Game Changers interviews with people outside the studio, but today we're at your pop-up store.
Yeah.
In Beverly Hills, which, it's great to see you out here and see the excitement about fashion.
Fashion, yeah.
Is fashion something that, has been in your blood for a long time?
I mean, always. But I think anybody who's grown up in New York, anyone that came from a super urban environment, we all get that because you don't have the opportunity. Your statements about yourself have to be really clear and visible when you come from a hood or impoverished situation. Yeah. How you feel about yourself, you wear it. It's your mask.
Is that where your background comes from? Like, how was it growing up for you? In the East Coast?
I mean, I grew up super poor. I grew up from the bottom of the bottom. I grew up between 2 project buildings. My mom would make sure that we wouldn't live in the projects because for her, that was the absolute bottom. Yeah. For her, that meant we'd never make it out because it's a system that sort of entraps you. So she moved us a block away from the projects. And, you develop a sense of style because you grow up super urban, super street, a certain acumen, like business first. Yeah. Even as a kid, you get business first because all the hustlers around the corner from you, all the drug dealers at the end of the block.
One way or another.
Yeah. And so fashion became like second nature. What Jordans you gonna wear today? Yeah. Are you still wearing Jordans? I'm not wearing Jordans now. What TN Air Max you gonna wear today? Are you wearing those? I'm not wearing those. I'm on the Sauconys. Oh, I'm doing the New Balance. I got a new colorway. I'm gonna Hyper Quick Strike, NMDs or whatever. Yeah. So streetwear and fashion became a huge, huge thing because you can say something about yourself without ever opening your mouth. Not everybody was articulate, right? Yeah. So we can't all represent ourselves with fantastic words. Some of us just got good taste. Like that shirt gonna say it for me today.
What was your taste back then? Like what were you, I see what you're wearing today and, the flavor and you have your own style that I wouldn't really like compare to a lot of other people. Back then, what would we see you in? I
think something similar. I'm the same guy I've always been. I think the clock just hit 12 the second time.
What music was your mom listening to?
You know what's funny? I didn't go, my mom is she's a minister, right? She's not a pastor, she's a minister. She has her own church. I grew up listening to church music. Like I didn't listen to it, but she played the church music. I didn't want to hear that. But it's church music from the Caribbean. Yeah. So it's like it ain't sexy.
A lot different to...
Yeah, it wasn't sexy. It wasn't like, oh, say them down the vein and laying down a hole. It wasn't like that. South, it wasn't, it was like, Mom, what is this? We bacon, salt, fish, something. Yeah. Because I'm from the Caribbean, South America, Guyana. Shout out to Guyana too.
For sure. You do a lot of your recording out in the Caribbean, right?
I record a bit outside of the U.S. So I was all geared up to go finish this project I'm working on in the Caribbean now. Yeah. Well, yo, when I hear myself talk, it sounds so luxurious. It sounds so sexy.
That probably has something to do with why the girls are all fawning over you.
Do they?
It probably got something. Well, I was just telling you before about a girl at the station. I said I was coming over here to shoot a little piece with Saint Jhn, and she was like, "Oh my God, I just love that guy."
That's dope.
I'm like, I wish a girl would one day talk about me like that.
I'm sure they do.
Maybe not in front of me.
Maybe not in front of you. Not in front of you, because they want you to be They want you to have some humility about it, right? It's not okay for you to be sexy and say, I'm sexy. You got to be like, oh, who, me?
Oh, yeah.
Little
I'll
old
be
Dustin?
waiting on you to tell me about the girls that are like, yo, that Dustin Skipworth dude? Mm-hmm.
Facts.
You got to let me know.
Facts.
So growing up, you know, you like, I want to like just stay on you growing up a little bit before we get into kind of the music and the fashion side that you got going on now. You know, you said your mom, she made sure you didn't live in the projects. What did that do for you as a kid growing up? Like, did that tell you something?
I think for me, personally, I think it gave me an advantage because there's an ecosystem within the projects, right?
Yeah.
And all my friends lived in the projects, and I had the proximity to it, but I didn't live in I didn't live in that. So we were on Section 8, like everybody else, but it was slightly different, a step removed from that entrapment. Because you got to keep, look, when you live in the projects, you got to make a certain amount of money, a certain minimum or maximum amount of money, so you can keep your rent subsidized.
Yeah.
So in effort, you aren't super ambitious and you don't go forward, or your ambitions are limited because in order to protect your survival or your circumstances, the kids you're raising, you can't make more than $11,000 a year.
Crazy.
And you might not have the education to make $80,000 or $90,000 a year that's necessary to sustain these kids. So you got to live in a situation where you live within the glass ceiling, so that you can feed your children and provide for them. So for me, it gave me an advantage. My mom was like, "You're gonna be a step away, just one step away, just one." Look, when you coming out of nothing, the wind at your back is a good enough motivator. You know, that's an additional, that's an incentive.
Yeah. Did other kids look at you as if you had more than them? Like,
absolutely not. No, we grew up super poor. We were all poor.
Yeah.
We were all broke. We were all fucked up. None of us had money. I wasn't better. I just lived a block away.
Yeah.
I ain't live in the suburbs. I just didn't live in the projects. I lived one block off. They know. You know the kids in the surrounding project areas.
What was your first taste of like getting out of the projects and like kind of like coming into a little bit of like, well, you weren't in the projects, but getting out of that area and like getting into like, you know, where your career was kind of taking you and like something was working for you?
Oh, well, it took a minute because see, I grew up in Guyana also, Georgetown, Guyana.
Yeah.
So I spent 3 years in New York and I spent 3 years in Guyana. So I saw poverty from both sides, right? So we were poor in Guyana as well, but my pops, we were hood rich. We were hood rich. You know the niggas that be in the projects and they got the Benz outside?
Yeah.
But they live in the P's. So we were hood rich like that because we still lived in the hood. My dad had a scooter and a car.
Yeah.
So we were lit. So I got to see another type of poverty. So for me, I knew that I could do better. I knew I could go further. I saw poor in U.S. meant you had food stamps and you had government subsidized living. And poor in Guyana meant it's mango right here. You got to sell it today.
Yeah.
Because if you don't sell it, you can't buy the kerosene to light the lamp.
It's more of a hustle
to illuminate
out there.
the gas. It's different.
Yeah.
So I had the advantage of knowing that there was another bottom. I was from the bottom and I saw another bottom.
Yeah.
So I knew I could go further.
You started off like in your career doing more writing than your own music.
Yeah.
How did you get into that? Did you always know that you were good with words and melodies and
I suspected. I thought I'd be good. I always wanted to be a writer, but I was like, in my mind, my career was going to go. I was going to have this. I was going to be that. I was going to be staying at Bon Jovi or something like that. Whatever. This is like a rock legend, right? Something that's so huge. And then at the end of it, I'll coast off into the sunset with me and my 19 wives in our 4 Laguna Beach houses.
Yeah.
And then I would start writing for people. That's how I thought it would have went. Nah, it didn't go that way. So I was putting out music. I was making music, and then the opportunity landed. The first music executive that I'd ever heard from, the first person I'd ever talked to at a major level, he reached out. I wrote a song for a friend of mine, and he reached out.
Yeah.
And he said, come to L.A., and we came to L.A., me and my homie, and he told us about writing.
Yeah.
He was like, yo, bitch, these songs, write them, and I'll put them up as an option for an artist, meaning I'll send them to whoever's controlling the artist's project and give it an opportunity. We tried. We failed. The first time I did it, we failed. The songs weren't good enough.
See, I thought you were about to tell me the first time. The first song that I sold was it was Usher or something like that.
I don't have one of those lucky stories.
Yeah.
I had a hard fought story that just came from time and resilience. Mm-hmm. You understand? I was just like, all right, cool, I'm just stick it out.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm young enough to just stick it out. Look, time is a concept, right? Mm-hmm. And it's the only true currency. So whenever it really happens for you, it happens. And I knew as long as I didn't quit before the day before things took off for me, I'd be in a great place. Mm-hmm. So I got the opportunity to write. So I stopped making music as an artist, and I delved into writing, and I started writing for a bunch of artists. I wrote for some people, whoever has Google they could use.
Yeah.
I wrote for like Usher,
yeah,
Nico and Vince, and Kaiser, and a couple other people. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How did that feel for you? Like knowing that you wanted to be this rock star, this artist, and then you when you started doing some writing, was it like you were kind of caged for a moment, or you?
No, it was my choice. It's my choice. I had experienced a significant amount of failure, at least in putting out music myself. I was watching it fail, and a door opened up. So a window closed and the door opened up, and I walked through the door. Mm-hmm. It was an opportunity, and I took it.
Yeah.
Like, you got to be able to recognize when the universe or the world gives you opportunities. Mm-hmm. The story doesn't have to play out the way you think it does. It just has to end the way it's supposed to.
I love that.
And I took the opportunity, and I went into writing for years. And I just kept my head down, and I realized the value of being a contributor. Mm-hmm. The value of the first time you walk into a room and you say, hey, I got something to offer, as opposed to I need something from you. Yo, Dustin, can you help me build my career? Or Dustin, is there anything you need a song for? I can give it to you.
Yeah.
You see, it's a difference,
There's a difference
right?
in the way that you come across.
So I changed my approach, and I started writing, and I became a conduit for other people's dreams, and that was helpful for me to understand what I really wanted to see.
Yeah. You put out the project Collection 1, and for me, that was really my first listen to your music. Right. And as an artist that I didn't know anything about before that, the project in itself is so full and tells so many stories and is just like an amazing body of work. Where's your head at putting that project together? Because it seems so polished for someone that didn't have this career behind them before that.
Right. Well, here's the thing. All it had to be was the way I saw the world. Mm-hmm. Right? I get to put the ribbon and the bow on it. Mm-hmm. I get to start it and I get to end it. And it's, it's my story. Yeah. It's funny is that you've investigated Collection 1, so you know what it's about. For some people, just from a superficial point of view, they might listen to it, and on surface, it just sounds glamorous.
Yeah.
But it's not. Mm-hmm. It's hopeful and desperate. And I'm getting into things. Yeah. It's unfair for me to do this, and I never do this. I never tell people how to consume music. I don't believe in that. But there's multiples of layers to anything.
Yeah.
You see a blue car, and you just see a blue car, and somebody else sees the shape of the car and the colors that have to be blended to make the hue blue, and somebody else sees the way the blue reflects against the light, and whatever the fuck people do, right?
Yeah.
But there was so many layers to Collection 1, and you got it. So for me, what it took to put that together, I had to live.
For sure.
I did a lot of fucking living. I did a lot of failing, a lot of living, fucking up, regrets, just all these things that go into that. And then I was experiencing change in my life too at the same time. I was experiencing growth, like in an obvious way. Things were changing around me, and you get to see this conflicts on Collection 1.
Well, yeah, like I really zoned in on the song Selfish.
Yeah.
Because for me, like, I could put myself in that place, but it's an interesting way, and you have to go back and listen to that song, because it's just such a different way to think about that situation that those two people are in.
Absolutely. And I wrote that song selfishly because I wrote, for the people that haven't heard it, I wish we were both somebody else so we wouldn't be somebody else's.
Yeah. When the first time I heard that, I was like, I literally stopped and like really thought about it and was like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, you never think of it in that way.
But that's it. Mm-hmm. That's what if you got a girl and she got a man, you kind of wish you weren't who you were and she wasn't who she is, so you could be together.
Yeah.
You have to take yourself all the way out of your life, because you clearly can't change your life enough to make it work.
Yeah.
So you got to remove yourself from it. You got to wish you were someone.
Yeah. Just
so you and her could find each other. I went through that. And that was a vulnerable place to be, and it was cool. I'm cool with being vulnerable.
Well, and that's the thing. I think you see that and you hear that in your music. You're okay with telling how you actually feel. Which is, as a consumer and as someone that works in the industry, it's tough sometimes to find that. Like artists be putting out music that is, don't want to say shallow, but like one-dimensional almost.
Sure.
So it's great to have music out there that we can consume like that and really think about stuff.
Yeah.
You went on tour this year. You opened for Post Malone, and then prior to that, after that you did your own tour. What was touring with Post like?
It's cool. His team is super cool. He's super cool. It's easy. We get along so well because I think our philosophies are similar. We just want to make cool shit.
I was gonna say that. Like I've spent a little bit of time with Post, and I get that same. Like he's gone through a lot. He's very vulnerable in his music, and you hear that. Even someone that you probably know, Paris. Paris. So Paris. He's definitely go and listen to his music. He's homies with Post. And
is it the band?
No, it's one guy.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but the music is similar to like Post and the vulnerability and the storytelling ability of this guy. And I was talking to Post about it, and he brought you up, and I was like, I've told many people that Collection 1 is my favorite album that I've listened to in 2018.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
And then you managed to, you did your own tour.
Yeah, I did 2 of my own tours this year.
2 of your own tours, and I had seen your post about the one at I think it was at the Observatory.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that moment. Getting to headline the Observatory.
So in 2016, Post, that was the first time him and I met, and I was on tour with him, the West Coast leg of his Hollywood Dreams tour. And we did the Observatory. And I opened up. I was the first of 4. For the people that don't know what the first of 4 means, that means tough. There's the headline act, who you pay your $20, $30 to come see. And then there's somebody who supports him. That's what it's called. You support. You're in the supporting slot. You're the second up the bat. And they're directly there, right? So you might not come to see the headliner, but you might come see the support. Yeah. And then there's an opener who you probably ain't really come to see, but there's an opportunity for them. There's a sub-level. I was the opener's opener. Me. Somebody went, somebody else went, and then Post went. And I was cool because I was just happy for the opportunity. Yeah. I just wanted to work. I just wanted people to hear what I had to say. I just wanted people to see me express this art, this thing that I was making in my head. I just wanted to know I wasn't crazy. Yeah. When you in the kitchen or you in a whatever you call it, and you're making something, you're brewing it, it's just you and whoever's in that kitchen with you cooking that concoction. And half of the time, y'all think y'all crazy. Yeah. For real, because nobody else can substantiate that what you're doing isn't crazy. Yeah. You want to make a what?
They can't see the end goal.
Yeah.
They know what's in your mind.
Imagine the first person's like, I want to make a car without a top. Yeah. What? What are you talking about? But him or her in that room with the 4 or 5 people, clearly they weren't crazy. This drop top is real. It's really real.
Real beautiful as well.
It's what we call.
Bad for sitting on it.
Nah, it's okay. Enjoy yourself.
So how was the moment when you got to have your own, you
my own tour
stage at the Observatory?
So bring it back full circle. We were doing the Observatory in 2016, and then in 2018, I did the smaller room in Santa Ana called Constellation Room. The Constellation Room, I think. And it was the smaller room, and that was the first half of my tour. Yeah.
Oh, and we sold that out. This piece of the story.
Yeah, so I sold that out in 6 months ago. Yeah. And then we came back 6 months later, same tour, same album. Observatory. This time it was me. I was headlining my own stage, and it was surreal because I remember being there. I remember the room I was in when I was the first time. So for me, that was incredible. Thank you so much. It feels cool just to think about it. And it might not mean anything to anyone else. It's all about these sentimental moments to help you along in your journey and my journey.
I think it means it means a lot to your fans and people that connect with you, because to see your excitement level behind that and that, it makes them feel like, wow, like I'm part of something.
Absolutely. And there were people that discovered me at that show, that came to that show, that came to the next one in the Observatory 24 months later, and they were like, yo, fam. And I feel like their story and my story intertwined, because they're watching the growth and they're believing, they're invested. I'm invested in them because I want them to know that this is real. If it's real for me, it's real for them too.
I see the same excitement when we walk around the room and you're talking about your fashion, you know, Christian Sex Club. Thank you for the shirt you gave me the other day. I wore it over the weekend and I got stopped. I can't even remember how many times I got stopped.
You had the black one. It's the black one, right?
The all white with
the red
Christian
CSC. Oh yeah.
Yeah, fly. And yeah, I got stopped so many times and asked about what it was. What is Christian Sex Club to you? You know, like what is that brand in the fashion line?
It's a conversation. For one, Christian Sex Club is a brand. Mm-hmm. I don't believe in merch, so I didn't make merch. Mm-hmm. I believe in premium quality products at an affordable price, right? It has become something you say over and over and over as a mantra in your head. Premium quality products at an affordable price, because I believe in that.
Yeah.
And I want to live there. I remember growing up and all the super cool things were inaccessible. I couldn't afford them. Mm-hmm. I couldn't afford them.
Yeah.
I wanted to wear silk. I couldn't afford it. Poor kid in Brooklyn. Silk was on TV. Silk was the guys on the yachts, on the speedboats.
Yeah.
Now I'm making things that are cut and sew. They're cut and sew. They're not blank shirts.
There's a experience to your. I was speaking to forgot his name now.
Rennie Penny? Is it Rennie Penny? Yeah.
Yeah. And we were talking about the experience behind, you know, like taking the shirt out of the bag.
Yeah.
Taking the tissue paper out of between the shirt. Where's that come from? You know what I mean? Because that's a really almost next level way of thinking.
I'm a consumer. Mm-hmm. All I am is a consumer. All I want is the coolest shit on earth.
Yeah.
And all I want is to be able to afford it. I want to go in the store, see something I like, and buy it and not feel guilty about it. Mm-hmm. You know that feeling?
Yeah.
Like, oh, man, and you regret it, and you think about taking it back. Mm-hmm. You're like, I'm going to keep the tag on. Brings you comfort.
For sure.
Yeah. I'm the guy that I want to speak to that person, that girl or that guy. I speak to them on a daily basis because I'm them, no matter where I am in my life, no matter where I am socioeconomically, no matter how much money I have or don't have, I'm adjusting for that.
Yeah,
I'm adjusting for the nigga from Brooklyn in his bedroom going, this $70.
That's dope to hear. You have this team around you, which. Like I've over the last, you know, like month or so, I've got to like meet a lot of your team, you know, and I feel like you've built this team that like has this one goal and like is like pretty in sync, which is tough to find. How did that kind of happen for you? Like, how do you have these people around you that are so on your wavelength of what you want?
We're all crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all nuts. That's the truth. We all think that we can do everything better. Mm-hmm. We're arrogant in that way. What I mean by that is, I walk in this room and I see this wall and I go, that's how they did this wall? Fam, if we did this wall, the wall would have, and that's where it starts. Yeah. Because we think we can do everything better. Mm-hmm. Because we just want a better product out of any of our experiences. Oh, that car could be cooler. Yeah. Oh, that shirt would be lit if it was like this. Mm-hmm. And we're crazy enough to think we can do it. And just for the purpose of satisfying our own curiosity and creativity. And it didn't happen overnight. This creative ensemble cast that I have, these brilliant idiots. I call this, what's the name? The Beautiful Failures.
The Beautiful Failures?
Yeah.
What's that mean?
Because we've all failed. All the people around me have failed immensely. And I only want people around me that understand failure. Mm-hmm. Anyone that only understands success, the minute failure comes and trembles, they can't regroup. Yeah. I want people to know failure well, understand the taste of it, know what it smells like in the air, so they know when to make a hard left when we need to make a hard left. Yeah. So everyone in my team comes from that. Everyone from the music portion, everyone from the creative portion, everyone from the fashion element. Mm-hmm. And none of us are snobby about it.
No, you don't get that at all.
We just want to make better music, better clothes, better experiences. Mm-hmm. Like we want to make better bags. We just want to make things. Yeah. And I'm lucky enough to be around people that want to make things.
You're in the process now. Well, actually, you said that the next project is done or 90%?
No, it's done. I mean, it's good to go. All I want to do is go plug in some words I didn't get a chance to plug in before. The next one, Ghetto Lenny's Love Songs for Christians. Mm-hmm. It's good.
Ghetto Lenny's Love Songs for Christians. Yeah. Have you had that title in your mind for a while?
I wanted to do it. I know what I want to do. I wanted to do it.
What can people expect from this project?
It's a winter collection. Mm-hmm. I think of music in terms of collections. Like if Alexander Wang was putting out a new project, it'd be, his collection, AW19. You understand? Spring 19. I put out collection 1. Yeah. It makes sense? Mm-hmm. Now this one is about to be Ghetto Lenny's Love Songs for Christians, a winter collection. So expect it to be aggressive.
And when can we expect this project?
Top of the year.
Top of the year.
Yeah,
we ain't got to wait long?
No, you ain't got to wait long.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Man, Saint Jhn, amazing sitting down with you. And, thank you for the music you put out and the energy. You know what? You're like, it really allows people to see inside of what is in your mind, but also escape what's going on in theirs.
I'm here for it.
Hell yeah.
Thank you, bro.
My guy.
Yeah, man.
Fire. So good, bro.
This is good. I think this is my first like in-depth conversation I've ever had.